This week, we're going to look at fasting. You always hear about Swami telling you to fast. And why does Swami give you 30 days fast? Or why do you have to fast for 45 days? Or why do you have to fast for 9 days or 9 weeks or whatever? And so every fast has a basic accomplishment when you're fasting. So we'll talk about that, and also talk about today, which is the day of the ocean. Do you know El Día del Mar? Why is El Día del Mar? So, the day when the ocean is worshipped, and when you have to take a bath into the sea, and it's also supposed to be very auspicious for you cleansing. Before we do that, let's say hail to the Guru, victory to the Guru, acts that the teacher always teaches you, and you have to learn from the teacher also. And so that's the purpose of our teaching, is to make sure that everyone is educated, everyone knows how to know what the reason why we pray, why we exist, what is the reason for our life, and so on. And so the Guru usually have the answer. And so victory to the teacher, victory to the Guru. So let's do the raising of the light, the arti, which is the raising of the light to clean the aura, which cleans the aura, which makes the gods be present in your life. So we I will start with that. When you meditate, you actually control the energy, the breath and everything within your body when you meditate with breath. This is called prana yoga. You should practice it at home. Not more than 10 minutes every day. If more than 10 minutes will throw you too deep. You don't want to get that deep and go to the other side too much. Like meditation, everything is important. You know, if you're cooking food and you don't put the seasoning, it doesn't taste good. So also, with meditation, also you have to have other things to go with it. Meditation does not exist by itself. Yoga means action. And yoga is a form of fasting also. In other words, yoga is discipline. It means discipline. It means your body has to be disciplined. So fasting, or what you eat, is very important. Notice, the last 4 or 5 years, lots of interesting experience where people are coming to me and they have court cases. And I give them the prayer, I give them mantra and so, and I tell them to say the prayers, I tell them to fast. And those who did all things properly, I ask them to eat cabbage on the day before they go to court. Cabbage. What is a cabbage in Spanish?
Calabaza?
No.
Repollo.
Repollo. Okay. So I ask them to eat repollo or cabbage. It's amazing. They all win their court cases. So this was interesting, that if you eat cabbage and you go to the court case, you win the case. So this was very interesting, and looking more into it, I realized that what you eat can have a big change. And I looked more into it, and here's what I found out. You know, when you have the babies, when they're young, they're small babies, you know, you just feed the baby, finish feeding the baby, and as soon as the baby finds the dirt, he puts it in his mouth. You know, baby likes to eat dirt. Yes, when we have the baby, they'll leave the food and they'll eat the dirt. That's why. Now, in the story of Lord Krishna, in one time when he was a baby, he would eat the dirt. And so one day, his mother, Jasodha, caught him eating dirt, and she started to take the dirt out. So he opened his mouth. And when he opened his mouth and she looked inside, she was shocked. She saw inside of the mouth of Krishna the solar system, the galaxies, the universe. The whole universe was inside of Lord Krishna. when he opened his mouth, and he made like that, and she looked inside, and he was just a baby. So that story is interesting because you have to realize now that the universe is inside of you. You have the whole universe inside of you. When we look at the planets and we look how they move, they're moving inside of you also. When we eat the food now, that's important. Because what happens to the food? The food makes you have energy. The food makes you have certain types of energy that you can be creative or you can be violent. If you eat the meat, you take all the violence of the animal inside of you, and so that becomes what you do. When you eat certain foods like calm foods, that calms the mind and calms the body, then your action or your thinking will be different, right? And I've tested this out. I found a lot of children who are more vegetarians did better in school. They have more retention of memory, more retention of studies and so on. They study better, they do better in school than the ones who eat meat. And if kids were like doing bad grades, I would get to put them on a fast, which is don't eat meat, and then they would do better in school. So depending on what you eat, now it affects the way you think and everything, and the way you act. So everything that you eat, everything that came into your mouth, changed the whole universe. Changed the universe. Everything you eat changed the whole universe. Plus, whatever the cow eats and the animal eats becomes fertilization for the plants and things like that. Everybody uses cow dung for fertilization now. And it gives it to the plants and they eat the plants. So everything is processed through the human body. So we are processing the universe constantly through our body. So because we are processing the universe in our body, we are also creating the universe. So we are the creators also. So one day this guy came to see me. He said his business is doing bad. He wants his business to do well. And so he wants more profit, more money and so on. So then I asked him what kind of business he had. He said he had a hardware store. I said, how far away are you from Home Depot? He said about 20 blocks from Home Depot. I said, well, everybody's going to Home Depot, and why do you look at your hardware store? But let's see if we can change that. Let's see if we can make the people come to your store instead of Home Depot. So I put him on a fast. No meat, no fish, no eggs, or anything like that. One of the 45-day fast mentioned. And I told him only to eat vegetables, no more animal food or anything like that. And after about 25 days into the fast, he called me, he says, Swami, it's amazing, the business picked up. I'm doing much better in my business. So it's a miracle, So I said, well, that's very good to hear, I'm glad to hear. But then he said, well, how come that happened? Is it really a miracle? No. I said, no. What you did was you just make the universe recognize you. In other words, what will make the people come to his hardware store? First of all, he has to create some kind of interaction with the universe where the people will not see Home Depot first. They will see his hardware store first. And how did he create that reaction? Was when he gave up all the things he was enjoying, like meat and fish and meat and red meat and so on, carne roja and everything. So all of these, he gave it up. And so when he gave back, the universe owed him that. Instead of him owing the universe now owes him. So now people, when they're traveling on the road now and they're coming down towards Home Depot, they will pass him first. Now they will not just look, they'll turn. And they'll see his store. He created that energy to pull the people to the store by giving up something. Giving up to the universe, something to the universe owes him. That's why we do charity, because we want the universe to owe us. The more charity we do, the more we give to the universe, the more the universe gets back to us. Right? So now, we can compare that to our body. If your stomach was not functioning, in other words, if you have stomach problems, you have a lot of pain, things like that, when you eat certain things. So that means you will not be able to benefit from that food. Because every time you eat it, it affects your stomach. Right? It's just this now the organ is one of the organs in the body. In the whole body, there are several organs. But if this one organ of the body does not want the food, you will never enjoy that food. But if it enjoys the food, you will always be able to enjoy the food, because if you don't have those stomach pain when you drink soda, for example, you will enjoy the soda. Okay? It's the same thing like us. We are in the universe, and we are the organ. And when we fail to function properly, fail to work properly, what the universe does? Tries to throw drugs on us, tries to throw all kinds of chemicals on us to cure the problem in the stomach. Same thing like the organ in the body. So here's what I do. Someone comes to me, and this happens a lot. A lot of people end up in ICU or in the hospital. And when they come, they said, oh, my grandmother in the hospital, my mother in the hospital, things like that. I will say to them, okay, make some sweet rice, which is, you're going to have some sweet rice today. Arroz dulce. So you make the arroz dulce, and you chant Kali Durga Namo Namah, which is the chant we give you when you see. Kali means to remove bad things. Durga means to bring good things. Namo Namah means for the benefit of the world. So I will have them chant on the little bowl of sweet rice, or arroz dulce, and take it to the hospital and feed the person. And within 2 days, the person is out of the hospital. Something as simple as that. And I use it all the time. I do it all the time. If somebody is serious in the hospital, you have to make some arroz dulce, make some sweet rice, and you say Kali Durga Namo, you touch the mouth of Durga. You touch the mouth of the deity. And you pray that, and the person gets out of the hospital. Why is that? Again, you are giving to the universe. You're giving something back to the universe. So that's very important. So that's why we do fasting. Now, somebody might fast because of a person who's sick. They might say, okay, I'm going to fast, I'm going to give up this. Because it's a sacrifice of giving something back. And there are so many ways of fasting, many types of fasting. We won't be able to cover it all today, but we have it on the paper.